Hello, my name's Amanda. I am from the fabulous city of Brooks.
Hi, Amanda.
Everyone should appreciate that, just so you know. I'm really concerned about the way that this question is framed, and it actually goes with the gentleman that just spoke before me. This idea of should Alberta take more control of immigration to counter Ottawa's open border policy. The video uses language such as unvetted, open borders, and savings to social programs, which is misleading, and it's dangerous. This
Sort of what's happening.
So that's what's happening even in this room. That's
Well,
the concern. So this kind of messaging encourages anti-immigrant sentiment at a time that we need to be building understanding and not fear. The reality is people don't come to Alberta to exploit social programs.
Okay, I need you to wrap it up, okay?
Yeah, I can. It's the booing that takes into my time here.
Well, you were over before, but carry on.
Okay, so immigrants aren't the ones overusing our social programs. If you work in our social programs, you would know that people come through immigrant streams aren't eligible for social programs.
Do you think the number is right now that we've got the right amount of people coming?
I think the number.
Sorry, go ahead. Yes or no?
The number isn't great.
Okay.
But the tone is what changes.
Gotcha. And I appreciate how you delivered that. A little lengthy, but thank you. So just know that the discussion up here is just on all of these issues. How might we manage them better from Alberta's perspective? Would we be better off to have control as opposed to Ottawa? Over here.
Hi, can there be stricter policies in place that limit the time someone who hasn't paid in can stay on our social programs, to encourage them to get jobs instead of just using social programs for years? Because it's happening.
Okay. Premier, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to go over to Samita?
Well, we do have a real problem that we're seeing that in the past, our level of tax revenue used to increase faster than inflation plus population growth. And so we felt that if we limited our year-over-year spending to inflation plus population growth, we'd be able to grow our revenues faster. And that's not what's happening now. And it is the case because I can counter it every day. We hear about it in our constituency office. People are coming here because they hear that our social programs are better, so they are moving here in order to be on our social programs. There is an example of something that worked really well, and if you look at the settlement of Ukrainian evacuees under the QIT system, somehow Alberta managed to settle 70,000 Ukrainians in the course of about 2 years through 200 different volunteer organizations, a huge diaspora, Ukrainian community. And I think the first wave of people who came through had well-paying jobs and maybe had a little bit of means. But when we looked at whether they were using social programs, of the 70,000, it was less than 2,000 that were using any kind of social supports. So that's, I guess, what we're trying to figure out is, are people, is there a way for us to be able to match those who are coming to the province with the jobs that are available, the skills that they have, so we set people off on a pathway of success. We've had lots of experience with being able to do that, but when you end up with 150,000 people coming a year versus 50,000 a year, which has been our experience the last 3 years, it becomes overwhelming of all of our systems. You're seeing it in classrooms that are overcrowded, complexity in classrooms, English language learners. People can't find a family doctor. We can't build homes fast enough. There just is a pace that you can keep up with. So we're looking at all of those things. But we feel that if we had the ability to identify our own labour market opinion, manage our own work permits, do our own provincial nominees for who would become a permanent resident, that would very likely be geared towards finding those who had the ability to work in the jobs that are available. And I think we would end up having them be taxpayers first before they needed any of the social services.
Could we have the Premier's Chair of the Council on Multiculturalism, Samita Anand, weigh in here?
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for asking me to share my story. I am a family that immigrated to Alberta, and I am very proudly saying that I form that fabric of Alberta that most immigrant families do. And my story is no different than other families who immigrated with a little hope, a little apprehension, and a little bit of fear when you come to a new country. We happened to start our life in Quebec, and being an immigrant family, I didn't speak or understand French at all, and it was extremely difficult to create a life and a happy place for our family. And then one friend comes along and says, hey, you should come to Alberta, there's no PST, homes are cheap, and you know what? Jobs are available, and rightly so. Our family was able to settle better. Even on this panel today, there are 3 first-generation immigrants that are talking to you. Not because we want to point a finger at immigrants, but I think we need to strike a balance here that we, just like all of you, should be contributing before we take away. I think that's the most important question here. BC,
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
Take a few more seconds. BC and Ontario are very expensive to live in. What happens when Alberta becomes the same situation? Where do we go from here? Is the question. I think we need to take some conscious steps, some check stops for our children, grandchildren, and for all Albertans here. Thank you.
Hear, hear. All right.